Hello and welcome. Another Tuesday edition of our live Q&A. Today is June 16th. And I want to welcome all of you that watch this on a different evening. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I know our Tuesday discussions can be somewhat lengthy, so let me say in advance, thank you to all of those that stayed to the end. As usual, our Tuesday discussion is sponsored by Pocket Path. Tremendous training tool. We've had 3 winners of the Pocket Path. All you have to do to be a winner in order to get a Pocket Path training tool sent to you directly from Pocket Path is to engage with the video. We choose a winner every week and we send them out, ship them out a Pocket Path arm path training tool used by colleges, pro ball, major leaguers, little leaguers, and everybody in between. And Pocket Path is a wonderful, safe training tool for all parents that are trying to help any throwing athlete, whether it be baseball, softball, and even football. Pocket Path is a wonderful training tool, and I've seen athletes as young as 5 years old and 35 years old all using a Pocket Path. So I hope you take a deep dive and look into Pocket Path, whether it's at a training facility near you or maybe a team that you have a student athlete that plays on. Tonight, we're talking, and it's the College World Series. It's my favorite time of year, always has been since I've been a young baseball player and watching in the 70s and 80s. Today, we're talking about college recruiting, and we're talking about the perfect storm. 3 bullet points that I'm going to answer questions on tonight that really equal into what college recruiting has become. And college recruiting, 3 bullet points. One, 34-man roster, or the roster caps at Division One, Division Two, and what they mean with regard to impacting recruiting. Number 2 is the all-powerful transfer portal, which as of today has 5,200 active participants and gaining every single day. 5,200 active participants. That does not include JUCO, by the way. We're going to talk about that tonight, JUCO graduates. And 3, 5 and 5. And, 4 months we have been talking about 5 years of eligibility and everybody telling me I didn't know what I was talking about. And here we are today in middle of June, and the 5 and 5 is having a really big impact. And we need to discuss that tonight. So stay with me, ask the questions that are important for you, and I will get to that topic that you may have and want to jump in and have me answer. Let us start with the 34-man roster impact. What's changed? Well, I can tell you over the last 10 days, let's call it 12 days, my days are filled with talking to college coaches. And we are talking about what they have learned over the last, say, 14 months with regard to putting a roster together. And every coach, whether it's Division One or Division Two, and the fallout to all other levels and divisions, we are learning that they need more pitchers. So what they may have thought was 18 to 19 pitchers on a staff would be sufficient. Now it's 21 and in some cases 22. Where they used to have 3 catchers, now we have 2, and we have that all-powerful emergency in case of fire break glass, which is the infielder or the outfielder that if you need me in a pinch, I can catch. The versatility factor and the role that plays on the rosters. And all of these 3 points are impacting the high school graduates, the high school athletes. Now, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say this as succinctly as possible, and that is anything that you think used to be relevant with high school athletes and college recruiting. Let me paraphrase. Let me say it again. Any points that you believe that used to apply to high school athletes in college recruiting, you can wrap them up, put them in a ball, and throw them in the trash basket. They are no longer applicable. I have seen boys that committed as juniors no longer committed to the schools that they thought they were going to a certain level or division, are no longer going to that level or division. Boys that had no interest in JUCO or no interest in NCAA Division III or no interest in postgrad suddenly be extremely interested in all three discussion points. The roster caps are now forcing college coaches to make decisions year by year. They used to have visions of someone being in their program for 4 years, now 5. That is changing and has changed. They used to really kind of allow a ease into a program from a developmental perspective for the younger athletes, not really a part of the Division One. Does that mean all Division One schools do not recruit high school athletes? It does not. What it means is high school coaches are waiting to see mental and physical maturity. If that means waiting until a high school athlete is a senior, whether that be in the fall or the spring, to make sure that the process and the development is ongoing, then yes, that's what that means. They are much more slower with regard to pulling the trigger on committing a student athlete. Also, what I need you to understand is yes, some schools. Now, I get all of these parents on social media that want to push back, and I'll engage. I have no problem engaging, but I really want you to understand college coaches now want you as parents to understand not all Division I schools have 34 full scholarships. Well, what about the Power 4 schools? They all have 34 scholarships. There's a lot more full scholarships out there today than there ever has been. No kidding. But there's more because it used to just be everybody was 11.7, and now 11 by 11.7 is not everybody anymore, but it's not a lot of schools. SEC, yes. For the most part, all SEC programs have 34 full scholarships. ACC, some do, not all. Big 10, maybe, but not all. Big 12, not all. We have schools that are regional schools, Big 10 schools, USC, UCLA, Oregon, not they're losing players to the portal. They all do not have 34 full scholarships. So we have this misinformation, or what I like to say, disinformation that's being spread. And it's something that parents really need to educate themselves and really understand. And let me make this point crystal clear. And that is this. As an industry, as a business, parents are being sold to their athletes' ceiling. And the industry is trying to get parents and student athletes to reach for their ceiling, to reach for their stars, to reach for their dreams, instead of focusing on the floor where their feet are. The floor needs to be elevated. I've said it a million times, but all the parents hear is what they're being sold. which is the dreams of the Power Four and Division One, and let's reach for. And the portal is full of those kids that went to the Power Four schools or the Division One schools, didn't play for a whole year, had to work and get up at 4 a.m. And then they get to the end of their freshman year and go, I don't have any future here. And the college coaches are basically saying you might want to enter the portal. And now you're back to square one because all of those people, the hitting instructors and the gurus that told you, yeah, you can play at that school. Yeah, that's what you should do. You should reach for that school because it's really cool and they're going to give you good gear and it will look good on the profile. And I can say I got a guide to this great school. And then you mysteriously slide into the portal under the cloak of darkness and nobody knows you entered the portal. And now you're back to, does anybody like me? Will anybody want me? The roster cap is a big deal. And we as adults need to start working with the older teenagers, students in high school, kids. I'm 63. So if your student athlete is 17 to 19, they're still a kid in my vernacular and terminology. So let's get that out there. Let's get that out into the real world. Number 2 is the all-powerful transfer portal. Now, the transfer portal is not glorious, and the recruiting is taking place in the portal. And all these parents of the high school juniors that are now becoming rising seniors, how come nobody's recruiting my student athlete? Well, nobody's calling my student athlete. Do you know he was the 6A player of the year in the state of fill in the blank? The state high school player of the year is still 18 or 19. And oh, by the way, the guys that are on television this week in Division II at Tampa and Florida Southern, those guys are 6'3", 210. And oh, by the way, they're 21 years old to 24, soon to be 25. Your son is 18, 17. And oh, by the way, parents need to look at college summer baseball leagues. You want to know what college baseball recruiting looks like? There are college summer teams. I'm getting calls from parents. My son's on a roster with 45 guys on it. He's never going to play. Oh, by the way, my son's on this summer roster, and the coaches are already telling him he probably is not going to play here. Go find a place to play. College summer rosters are maxed out because they're the place where recruiting is actually taking place. Like that's the hip, like in 1998 through 2015, it used to be the World Wood Bat in East Cobb, and all the college coaches hung out at East Cobb for the summer from, the end of June through the third week in July. Well, they don't do that anymore as much as they used to. You know where they are? They're in the Northwoods League. They're in the Illinois League. They're in the Cape. They're in the New England Collegiate League. They're in the Perfect Game League. They're in the Virginia League, the Florida League, the Texas League. They're all in the college summer leagues because the portal, you put your name in the portal. Well, where are you playing college summer ball? I'm in the Northwoods League. I'm in the California League. I'm in the Alaska League. And those rosters are maxed out. And those boys are trying to find a home, not just Division I. The biggest misunderstood dynamic by parents, by student athletes in high school. We talk about the transfer portal, Division III, Division II, Division I. Collectively, we have approximately 5,200 athletes that are looking for a home. Approximately 200 have found a home, but 5,200 are still looking for homes. That means they're going to find homes Division III, they're going to find homes Division II, they're going to find homes in JUCO, they're going to find homes in NAIA. And oh, by the way, that does not include all of the JUCO big bad dudes that went to Blinn, San Jacinto, Weatherford, McClellan, Cisco, Eunice, Delgado. I mean, I can rattle off Northern Essex, Gloucester, Rowan, Northern Iowa. There's 1,000, even more JUCO athletes that are being actively pursued by college coaches. How can your student athlete in high school possibly measure up to a 21 or 22-year-old JUCO graduate that is throwing 93 to, how's this? I have a JUCO graduate that throws 96 to 100 miles an hour, and he's still looking for a home. I have a college JUCO graduate that runs a 6'4", is 6'1", 210. Let me say it again. JUCO graduate, 6'1", 210, runs a 6'4". In college, at the highest level of JUCO, hit 361, 20 home runs, 70 RBIs, and has a Roberto Clemente arm in right field. And I just found him a home. Last week, I helped 17 athletes in the portal. And 4 of them were JUCO. One of them just said to me tonight, I thank you. I'm going to school X. I appreciate your help. These are JUCO athletes that are not in the portal. And meanwhile, parents are so consumed with portal, they're not remembering, oh, by the way, there's a lot of JUCO athletes that are also being recruited. 34 cap Division I, 36 cap Division II. What you have to begin to understand is Division I, sooner or later, this is a prediction, bookmark it. Division I is going to start to have some form of a JV team. I promise you it's coming. They might call it a developmental roster or a taxi roster, but it's going to have to happen because that 34 cap, it's a problem when your starting left fielder gets hurt or your first 2 Friday night, Saturday night starters get hurt and you're down to 32 hard cap. But that's a story for a different day. Now, on top of all of that, and I'm going to get to your high school, guys. Stay with me. We now have the 5 and 5. Now, I've said it last week, but a lot of parents still don't understand what I am trying to say. If I have a hard cap, and college coaches want you to understand this, if I have a hard cap as a Division I coach, now some hard caps are for those schools that have opted in. I don't want to bore you with that. And some schools have a threshold that their university, whether it's their athletic department, the president, a combination of both, that have determined we may have not opted in, but we can only carry 32 or 34. And instead of 11.7, we only have 9 scholarships. And oh, by the way, we might be reducing that to 7, i.e. Townsend State. So when you start to think about this 5 and 5 that is about to get implemented, I now have 5 recruiting classes, for lack of a better term, freshmen in college, sophomore in college, junior in college, senior in college, graduate student in college, to make up a roster of 34 currently at the Division I level, which is where the 5 and 5 currently resides. Division II, let us remember, back in January, they kicked the can down another year. Ultimately, 5 and 5 will be an NCAA thing, not just Division I. But right now, they have 36. So you have a lot of athletes going from Division III to Division I, Division II, Division I. 5 years of classes in 34-man roster spots. So for those parents that are being told that you need to focus and you need to reach for your ceiling, Division I, got to go Division I, got to go Power 4, got to go here. What about Division I? Oh, I like that school, but what about Division One? Well, I know I really should go to that school, but what about Division One? Those people that are selling you the dreams of your ceilings for your student athletes, instead of worrying about the floor where their feet are and trying to elevate the floor every year, remember, if you raise your floor, you're ultimately raising your ceiling simultaneously, FYI. The athletes and the families that I work with, they don't like what I say when we first get started. But by the end of the processes, they're all very happy. Why? Because we focus on the floor. Like we focus on the floor. And that's going to serve a purpose. So now let us talk about the high school athlete and let us really have a good understanding about the high school athlete and why this matters for you as parents to ultimately find your way here. And you're frustrated and you're upset, you're angry. And the reason why you're angry is for 4 years you've been lied to, and you find this person that keeps selling you something, showcases, camps, clinics, tournaments. Got to do this tournament. All the coaches want to see you compete in a tournament. What you need to begin to understand is you need to prepare your athlete for 3 things. 1, a college coach at some point, whatever level they end up at after high school, is going to push your student athlete to their absolute wits' end. They're going to test and they're going to see what your athlete's threshold of work and what can they get them to, what's their breaking point. Now, you can believe me today, or you can wait till it actually happens and be upset, but I promise you that is in your student athlete's future. In the fall of their freshman year, they're going to be pushed to their breaking point. What do? Do they retreat or do they compete? Let me say that again. Does your athlete retreat or will they compete? Do you know the answer to that question? Because you need to know that before you start recruiting. 2, they're going to have to learn how to compete with regard to competition for playing time. There is no such thing as an easy path to getting between the lines. And so what you must begin to recognize is that pathway to Division 3 is tough. That pathway to JUCO is tough. The pathway to Division 1, Division 2 is tough. NAIA, wow, is the level of talent at NAIA good? I mean, really good. College baseball collectively has approximately 50,000 spots to compete to play college athletics in the sport of baseball. And your athlete is trying to find their way to one of those 50,000 spots. If your student athlete plays in college, I don't care what level, they're talented. They're very good. And oh, by the way, they're building a resume, which brings me to my next point. I have parents that will ask me ad nauseum, why do you always say, find your fit, find your way? Because those athletes that have played at the Division 3 level and have a resume, they have a pathway to Division 1. Those athletes that have played in the NAIA, in JUCO levels and created a resume, they have a pathway to the next level if they're so inclined. And we are dismissing that because some random person wants to pin your student athlete on the wall and say, I got that athlete to a school in the ACC. Victory. And then your athlete doesn't play. And if they didn't play, they don't have a resume. And then when they look to go into the portal, hey, Walt, does he have any synergy? Hey, is there any video on this kid? Where's he getting reps? Where's he playing summer ball? I got to go see him. I don't care that he was there. He hasn't played in a year. I got this other guy who hit 361 with 20 home runs at JUCO. Man, that's a good resume right there. That's what we're missing. All this math is not mathing. And all of these people, like Dan Kerrigan, is a random, what a great gentleman that has followed me for like 4 years on social media. Now, his son is going to go to Auburn. And if you watched Auburn this year, they played a lot of young, talented athletes. And for years, next level baseball, Coach Ryan has been telling everybody who that will listen, hey, if you're not in the weight room and you're not playing college summer baseball between your high school senior year and your college freshman year, you got a big issue. And Dan Kerrigan's son is playing in a college summer league. I believe he's playing in the Northwoods League, which is a big boy college summer league. And you better go there and you better be ready to play. And you better be ready physically and mentally to grind out at bats, because it's not a tournament style, hour and a half game, or we got rained out and we're not going to make that up. It's a 9-inning game, wooden bat against dudes throwing electric stuff off of the bump with sliders and ungodly changeups. And you got to do it. At some point, we got to come to the rationalization and realization that I got to play against the older guys. Nobody cares about your 17U all-perfect game tournament team. Nobody cares. In the PBR rankings, nobody cares. Now, the PBR directors, and they see a guy and they talk to college coaches, because a lot of the PBR directors are good baseball people. They put in a word, yeah, this guy's going to have some tools, but he's going to need to play. He's going to need some size. I'm telling you this as parents because I'm trying to disseminate meaningful information that, yeah, on the surface may hurt, or, ooh, I didn't know I was going to have to do that. Like moving weights. Everybody thinks they can go to the YMCA or Workout World or Planet Fitness and lift weights. No. What you need to find out is where you're deficient, where you need to add strength, where you need to add size. You need to know about hydration and nutrition. Because when your feet hit campus, every Thursday night, I have a college coach, and I have for 4 years. And college coaches will always say to me, hey, Walt, I love when I hear you say, be ready when your feet hit the ground when you get to college. Like, I wish more parents understood. Really don't need you like your junior year in high school or your senior year in high school to be playing in these 18U, 17U, tournaments and getting all perfect game tournament accolades and posting them on social media. Here's what we need. We need those guys to be the same size, the same speed, and the same skills as the guys that we have on our roster already. So when they show up to our campus, they blend in. Well, don't you want them to stand out? Don't you want them to stand out? You don't want them to stand out like a sore thumb, like, ooh, that guy doesn't fit. Ooh, that guy's not big enough. Ooh, that guy's not strong enough, fast enough, skilled enough. You need to blend in. You need to go run with the big dogs. At 17 or 18, you need to go play against 19 to 23-year-olds. Figure that out. Now, if you play on one of these new, what I call plugged-in travel organizations, see Dirtbags, Louisiana Knights, NorCal, GBG, Scorpions, Maine Lightning, that are doing developmental teams, meaning they're working in the weight room, they're working on skill set development, they're pushing you to get bigger, faster, stronger, more skilled, and not worried so much about the all tournament teams or going to a tournament that's going to get rained out, or playing an hour and 15-minute game and you getting 2 at-bats and then getting into your flip-flops. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. Now, let me get to some questions because I got a whole bunch of them coming in here. Portal ruined baseball. Now, I love this when I see this. Coaches only looking for portal players who will jump from their school in a second. No loyalty anymore. Um, that's not really accurate. I'm going to tell you what's accurate. I'm a college coach and I am providing for my family. I have a spouse, I have children, and I have been hired to perform a duty on behalf of a college or university to the best of my abilities. And so, college coaches at every level, at every division, recognize that the portal and the JUCO. Now, we had the head coach at Troy had a great saying. If you go to JUCO, that tells me that you simply love baseball because that is a long, long season. That's like 80 to 100 games between the fall and the spring. You're not traveling and glorious. They don't have the technology. They don't have the facilities. They don't have the amenities. When you're a JUCO player, you are, in fact, a JUCO bandit. But let's talk about the portal. College coaches now first of all, the portal is not new. This is not like some recently created thing that coaches just say, I'm just going to send them to the portal. Portal's been around a long time. It's had different manipulations and changes and rules, but the portal's been around for a long time. Here's what the portal is. The portal is where those guys that got pushed to their limit, couldn't handle it, didn't get between the lines, and they just don't want to continue to try to force themselves to do it anymore. I got to go find greener grass and brighter future. And they got to go find playing time. They need a resume. Coaches now know, like, it didn't work out with these 6 players. They don't have the desire, the passion, the skill. It's not the right fit. They don't fit the culture. They're not a good teammate. Whatever it is, it's always two-sided coin. Heads and tails. Heads and tails. Coaches, players. Coaches, parents. Coaches, families. Portal. Lots of stories. The stories of the portal. That could make a great book. Maybe I'll write one of those someday. But my point is now coaches know, I know what I didn't have last year. I know what I need next year. These guys, it's not going to work. I got to go find this type of guy. Athletes, it's not going to work here for me. I have a young man that transferred from TCU. Now, I work in this industry 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'll take anybody on in a debate. You want to come on? You want to go toe-to-toe with me? You want to tell me I'm full of BS, whatever? Knock yourself out. We'll do it. But I have young men that have been at schools like TCU, got 6 innings at TCU. Coach, talking to me, should I go in the portal? Well, what was your exit meeting? My coach said I should probably look to go in the portal. I'm not going to get a lot of innings here. Okay, well, let's find a new home. Okay, well, now we have to go to a non-Power 4 school. Well, I don't know if I really want to go there. It's a cold state. They play in a conference. It's okay. Well, here's why you want to go there. That was in last summer at this time. Fast forward to today. Today, I'm talking with the family. Oh, you're going to be drafted this year. Oh, and you had just had a workout with these 3 teams, and you're the Friday night starter at that school. And now you got agents asking you, like, how much money would it take to get you in the portal? And major league teams are saying, is this amount of money okay? Would you sign for this amount of money? 1 year. 1 year. From 6 innings over 2 years to transferring to a non-Power 4 school with a great coaching staff that presented a great opportunity, ended up being a great fit. And now we're talking about the Major League Draft. And then coming back next year, potentially not only being a Friday night starter, but a potential top 200 draft pick in 2027. I get a lot of stories like that. I got a lot of stories like that. So I can go toe to toe with any of you people that blow my emails up about how great of a recruiting agency you are and how great you're doing with your kids. I just can tell you there's a lot of mis and disinformation. And as parents, you need to become informed. Take your time. There's no hourglass dripping the final grains of sand. You need to be informed. Sometimes stepping back, widening your lens, taking a deep breath, swallowing a little pride, and going to these schools that you think, well, nobody really even knows who the logo is on my sweatshirt. Okay, so what? We're so busy worried about validation on social media and gear and being able to say, our student athlete is going to school X. Yay. And then a year later, what do you think we should do? Loyalty is a two-way street, and loyalty is about finding the right fit from the beginning, paying your dues. We have lost our way in the world because it used to be back when dinosaurs roamed the earth that you were in high school and as a sophomore you played JV, and if you were a stud you got to play varsity. And then suddenly the advent of travel ball, and now we have high school coaches that own travel ball teams, and if you don't play for my ball team you won't play for my summer team. What Suddenly the business is all about, let's get them at 13. Let's sell them a dream. Let's dangle a carrot. And when they get to that senior year in high school, hey, you know what? I got freshmen, eighth graders coming into my program next year. Thanks for playing. Thanks for paying. But we're on to the next group. There are people in central Massachusetts that have been running travel teams, and they don't know the first blessed thing about the sport of baseball, but yet they hang their hat on having owned a travel organization for 25 years. You know what they are? They're good businessmen. They get pieces of the hotels. They get pieces of the meals. They get pieces of the entry fees. It's all kickbacks. And they've figured out how to live their lifestyle on the backs and in the pockets of parents for 25 years. And they're panicking because suddenly this whole industry is finally coming back to, you either can play or you can't. And if you can't, there's no room for you. There's no longer a free ticket to sit in the dugout for 4 years and say that you play Division I baseball. Because if you can't produce and be an active participant on a 34 or 36-man roster in college, no room for you. No free ride for you. So what can you do as parents? What can you as parents do today to help your student athlete, no matter where they are in their process? One, you need a physical evaluation of your student athlete, that whether that is yesterday or tomorrow, get it done. Get your physical. I don't care. It's a certified somebody that has a degree in kinesiology, understands how to safely move weights. You need to have that physical evaluation of your student athlete. Next, you need to have a skill set evaluation, somebody that you're not paying for a year to practice and go to tournaments, somebody that you can trust, that has played the game, coached the game at a high level, that can give you honest feedback. Now, I had a young man that had been paying $7,500 a year for the last 3.5 years, who's now going to be a high school senior, has been a middle infielder for a program that has assured this family that their student athlete was going to be a middle infielder in college. And now they are a rising high school senior. And they are perplexed because their student athlete is not getting any calls, not getting any emails, not getting any responses to the emails they're sending out. And they contacted me and they sent me some video. And when you send me video and you have a base hit, I don't look at the hit per se. I have a stopwatch and I figure out what is your time out of the batter's box, through the bag at first base. And then I ask, do you have a 40 or a 60-yard time? Yeah, he runs a 7.3. And he's a shortstop? Yes. But he's a great hitter, and he's an all-conference in high school, and he's been a starter since his freshman year in high school. And he's played on the Triple Platinum Prospect All-American Elite team. In college, he's not going to be a shortstop. Well, he's got a great glove. I'm just telling you, he's not going to play shortstop at 7.3, and he's also like a 4.4, 4.5 to first base, and the average speed out of the box from the right side is like 4.3, 4.2. There's a foot speed problem. Well, when should I have known that? A long time ago. Evaluation needs to happen. Physical strength, stretching, skill set needs to happen. 2, academics. Now, I'm not going to bore you with that tonight because I don't want to go too far past 45 minutes, but academics, I cannot say this more frequently. I can't say it more passionately. They play a role. Now, if you as a parent don't care about your student athletes' academics and they get a C, and a C, in my opinion, means they're the best of the worst and the worst of the best. Means they're average. They're pedestrian. They don't stick out. They're not too high. They're not too low. They're just the middle of the pack. If you're happy with that and you feel like, I don't really care about a degree, I just care about baseball. Okay. Well, sooner or later, you're going to get a big slap. Somebody's going to say to you, it's not going to work here. And the grades aren't going to work out, and they're not going to have room at the end. Academics are where the money is for 4 or 5 years. Academics, test scores. Test scores are optional. Well, I don't know if you know that or not. No, they're not. If you don't know about academic index, and yeah, there's schools that right now, as we're talking today in 2026, that might still be test optional, but a lot of those schools are reverting back to the pre-COVID, what they refer to as academic index. Academic acumen can get you money that lasts for 4 years. If certain academic thresholds are met, they're going to give you guaranteed money. Too many parents are thinking that the athletic scholarship is going to cover everything. Sometimes it only covers half of your tuitions. Well, what about food and books? Good luck with that. See, misinformation, disinformation. Academics matter. Next, recruiting. Let's just talk college baseball. Recruiting is not going to happen your sophomore year or really your junior year. Does it happen? Yes. If you're a power right-hand pitcher, a great lefty power hitting corner, infielder, outfielder, catcher. But if you are a pedestrian high school junior, well, I don't think you know, my student athlete is an all state, all city, all regional. Doesn't matter. College coaches are going to wait until the senior fall, after the portal and the JUCO have all fell in line, meaning the Division I guys have settled in, the Division II guys have settled in, the Division III guys, and the JUCO and the NAIA. Well, what do you mean? Portal is just a Division I thing. No, it's not. Ask a Division III coach. Coach, what are you looking for next year? I'm looking for a portal guy that maybe might have been a fringe Division I, and he's looking for an opportunity, and I need that Division I outfielder. I need that Division I bat, but they want to play Division III every day. NAIA, what are you looking for, coach? I'm looking for a Division I arm or Division II arm that might be in the portal, and they're looking to come in and get regular innings, and we need a weekend guy. I need a dude. Every coach, I need a shortstop. Okay, well, I need a dude. I need a portal guy first. Well, what about the high school? I can't look at the high school guys right now. That's the reality. That's the reality. If you're a college coach out there, now there are college coaches like Butch Thompson, Auburn, John Savage, UCLA, Andy Stankiewicz, USC, Reggie Christensen, Sac State. They love developing their guys, but they look for the high school polished pitchers and the really super physical hitters, impactful bats. And that goes for Division I JUCO, Division I NAIA, and Division I NCAA. So my point is, they all coaches have a responsibility to put the best team because they want to compete. And whether we want to admit it or not, a 18 or 19-year-old is that has not prepared in the weight room. I'm going to finish with that. Cannot compete with a 22, 23, 24-year-old man. The 22 through 24-year-old man is in high demand. They are mentally mature. They are mentally polished. They know how to deal with time management. They know how to deal with failure. And they know how to handle it themselves. The 18 or 19-year-old that has not figured out the weight room, that has not figured out the time management. Oh, by the way, in college, you're going to do a lot of running. Do you do a lot of running on your summer travel team? I didn't think so. When are you going to start doing that? When are you going to start getting up at 6 a.m.? I have a young man that's currently at the Air Force Academy. That's his choice. That's what he wanted to do. But he used to get up every day his senior year at 6 a.m., run, lift, and he put himself on a comparable schedule to what he envisioned college would be like. And then when he got to college, all he did was his routine simply moved from Virginia to Colorado. When are you going to do that? When do you think you should do that? My point is, we are passing the buck. As adults, we are passing the buck. We are blaming the high school coaches. We are blaming the college coaches, blaming travel coaches. There's nobody to blame because at the end of the day, what you need to understand as both parents as well as student athletes, when I say be prepared and be on par with current college athletes, whether that be NAIA, JUCO, or NCAA, that means physically, skill set wise, academically, time management wise, and the ability to handle failure, the ability to flush. If you can accomplish that during your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior years of high school, you are physically ready, you are mentally ready, your skill sets are polished, and you look like you blend in and belong on a college team, you are going to have a leg up on all college athletes. You're going to get there. But if you have not done all of those things, look in the mirror. As parents, begin to ask yourself, are we preparing properly? And if you feel like the answer is yes, ask a college coach, are we doing all the right things? And the college coach might say, 178 isn't going to work for us, or 7.3 is not going to work for us. When do you want to hear that? Now, when you have time to work on it, or when you're a senior in high school and you start to feel that hourglass dripping sand on your left shoulder? Let's see. Luca, if I was going to reach out to college coaches via email, should I start now or wait till the fall? I am entering my senior year in high school. Luca, great question. I would do it during your senior fall. And I would have a good 2-minute clip put together. And I would have that clip show you in your best hustle, attitude, show something in the field, defensively, offensively, have a great transcript. Your transcript is now official. If you finished your junior year in high school, your transcript is now official. So include that and let them know why I think the school that you're emailing is a good fit for you as a potential college student athlete. Know who the coaches are. Address the email personally to the right coach. Spell the name properly. Make sure you spell check your email. Make sure the grammar is good. Make sure your subject line of your email screams, read me. Meaning, like, whatever your biggest asset or tool is, let's just assume you're a pitcher. 6'3", right-handed pitcher, 210, 89, 91 mile an hour fastball. Put that out there. That's going to get read. Make sure you have video that shows that's what you do and that's who you are. Make sure that transcript has good remarks on it. Like hard worker, dedicated student. Maybe have a letter of reference from a professional scout or a coach in your area, whether that's a high school coach or a travel coach that can speak on your behalf. I'm writing on behalf of Tyler Beede. I've coached him for the last 4 years as a student at Auburn High School or Lawrence Academy. Team player, always prepared, great practice teammate, picks up teammates, very celebratory with his teammates. Great guy when the game is on the line, steps up. Those types of things. Include those in your email. You get one shot for that thing to get opened. Great question, Luca. College Summer League prep freshman year, and you are again, college summer baseball. If you are a high school senior going into college, that should be an automatic. Find a league that can get you between the lines. I don't care if it's in Iowa. I don't care if it's in Minnesota. I don't care if it's in New Mexico. If it is a college summer league filled with 20 to 24-year-olds, send your 17, 18, or 19-year-old there and get them between the lines. Let's see. Luca, you're very welcome. On average, what percentage of recruits in the fall make the roster in the spring, specifically in D3? D3, if you're on the roster in the fall, chances are you're going to be on the roster. Now, we had Salve Regina on, Eric Sorella, who I respect immensely, also Matt Noon at Babson, also Tim Mayo at Nichols. I've had Messiah. I've had a number of Division III coaches on. And they all have what they call developmental team or a JV team. Couple things of note. They all practice together. The teams, they have a varsity schedule and they have a developmental schedule. Division III, of which I was a head coach for many years, they generally will not cut if they have that developmental component. Sometimes some schools will have a threshold of 40 athletes that they'll travel with. But for the most part, an NCAA Division III program, which I think is a tremendous experience for a myriad of reasons over and above baseball. The camaraderie is like second to none. It offers a good balance between academics, athletics, social, cultural. But for the most part, a Division III roster, those kids stay within that program. And Division III really allows growth. They're not as cut and dry as Division II and Division I, particularly Division I. I strongly encourage you, if you can play at Division III and you feel like, I think I'm better than that. And here's how it usually works. When I'm working with student athletes, and I'm just going to pick arbitrary schools. I mean nothing by these schools. They're just absolutely random. So please do not read too deeply into what I'm about to say. It's strictly hypothetical. Well, how would you like to go to Murray State? Oh, that would be great. And then they go through the Murray State. Well, do you think I could go to Texas A&M? Do you think I could go to Kentucky? Or I'll get them into a school like Salve Regina. Oh, that's unbelievable. Do you think I could play at Florida Southern or University of Tampa? What about Holy Cross? That's a Division I team. In other words, we're constantly reaching for the ceiling instead of elevating the floor. Elevating the floor. And so my point is, Division III, if you put a resume together, now let me tell you a great story about two young men. One this year, I'm going to back up. I have a lot of parents that push back on postgrad, and it's the most misunderstood and now booming because all of the business of baseball. Like I got the venture capital hedge fund world now infiltrating youth sports in a massive, massive way. But mark my words on this and bookmark this. High school athletics are next. The amount of high schools that are being started across the country, IMG is like the model. And now we're just going to create all of these high schools. Well, we thought we would go do the post grad for the high school graduates, but now we're just going to have high schools. We're just going to create high schools out of thin air. We're going to create high schools. And all these big money people, when they do that, they have an exit plan. Well, we'll look to sell it within 5 to 10 years, but we'll build it up where we'll generate maybe 50 million a year, 60 million a year. We'll have football, we'll have hockey, we'll have basketball, we'll have baseball, softball, lacrosse, track and field. It's coming. I promise you, it's already starting. And all of these people are selling parents the ceiling, the dream, and it's going to infiltrate high schools. And you're going to start to get high schools reaching out, selling you 65,000 a year, 80,000 a year, maybe 40,000 a year. High school athletics are the next big business coming to a neighborhood near you. Bank on it. So now let me go back to post-grad. I get a lot of parents who say to me, yeah, we're not really interested in post-grad. We're not really interested. And then they get to the middle portion of their high school senior year, and there's no love. There's no love. Nobody has come through. There's no paperwork. There's no letter of intent. There's no ceremony in the gym or the auditorium. Hey, Walt, can we revisit that post-grad year? Why? Why all of a sudden? Well, so-and-so it knows a football player that's doing it, and maybe we should kind of look at that. Well, guess what? You lost a lot of runway to try to find your good fit or your financial aid packages, and now the window is closing. My point is, has everybody ever said, I can't wait to be 75? How many adults do you know say, oh man, I cannot wait to be 80? But I know a lot of my buddies that will say, remember when we were in high school and we did this? Remember when we were in college and we did that? Now, obviously, we can't go back in time. But my point is, why are we as adults so in a rush to push and propel our athletes forward when they're A, not ready for it, B, they're not prepared for what awaits them, and C, the reality of who is standing at the gate of the college. And it's a miserable experience when you start competing with 22, 23, and 24, let alone 25 years. I have guys in college that are getting married. Your student athlete just went to the prom. He's about to go play with a guy who's getting married. So all of this to say, parents, widen your lens. Give yourselves some safety nets. You have to start to understand physicality, it's not an option anymore. College summer league baseball, it's not an option anymore. You need, if you really have a sincere interest in attending college, in playing college, I am dealing, last week, I negotiated $600,000 in name, image, and likeness deals. I helped 17 athletes in the portal, some of which I didn't even know until late May of this year. They didn't know me. I didn't know them. And as of today, they are set. That's a fact. I'm happy to give you the names if you want to email me. My point is, we need to widen our lens. We need to cast a wider safety net under our athletes. And oh, by the way, if mental development is not in your, sphere today, you need to get it into your sphere. Tamara Seaman, Danielle Martin, Brett McCabe. I could go on and on. I can give you a whole bunch of people in that space. Mental performance. If that is not a part of your family's preparation package, it needs to be, and it needs to be yesterday. The young man that left TCU came to me, and I grew up with his dad, and he said, I think I need a mental performance coach. I connected him with Tamara Seaman. That young man is night and day. He is about to be drafted in the 2026 MLB draft. And if he doesn't sign this year, he will be the Friday night starter at a Missouri Valley Conference school and a top 200 pick next year in the draft. Mental performance played a critical role in his evolution as a college student athlete. Now, if you have made it through this entire video, A, thank you. B, please engage with this video. I am penalized tremendously by YouTube because the average person tunes this out after 6 minutes. But I leave these videos up there for you as parents to listen to at your leisure, to find information, and then for you to contact me if I can be of any help. I promise you, I can connect you with parents that are living everything that I'm discussing here tonight. And they can tell you in their own words whether I am speaking truth. I will connect you with parents that I have worked with over the last 1, 2, 5, 10 years. And they will tell you whether I speak truth. The bottom line is we need to start to make sure our athletes are building their floor, because the floor below them pushes their feet higher. Stop reaching Division I or bust. Division I or bust. I need to go to Power 4. I need to get a full scholarship. How come the coaches don't talk to me? How come the coaches don't return my call? How come the coaches are ghosting me? Because you were sold something by someone who simply gave you a Band-Aid. They didn't give you a safety net, and they certainly didn't give you a plan. So I want to say thank you to everybody that spends the time watching the videos. Please, please engage with the video. Please leave a thumbs up. Please share the channel with everybody in your circle, socially, athletically, in your circle. Coach Beede, I am really hoping that we together, collectively, Dan Kerrigan, Coach Ryan with Next Level, Rob Bruno, NorCal, Mike Garcia-Parra, GBG, Jack Crescent, Knights, Mike DeAndrea, Maine Lightning, Scott Wintory, like all of these people, Bradley Manis, Mary Manis, all of these people, we've worked and talked. Mark Bonilla from Pennsylvania. We worked together. Jeremy Fouts, all of these people, David Rust with Blue Book, collectively, we work together. And there are days where we frustrate each other because it's frustrating. But together, we can help each other. I promise you. In some cases, you just need to hear the truth. You won't like me for the first day after we talk about the truth. But in a week, you'll come back and say, what's our plan? What's our goal? What do we need to do? Share the channel, subscribe, comment, hate me, love me, agree with me, disagree with me. It doesn't matter. You need me, walter@coachbeede.com. Send me an email. I'll get the email. I'll help in any way that I can. And it's not just older parents. This Friday at 9 a.m., I'm going to talk to a set of twins that are 10 years old. Their dad and their mom just want me to talk to them and talk about loving the game, just loving the game. It's just a simple phone call. They're not paying me anything for it. I'm not charging anything for it. I'm not a hero because I want to make the call. Baseball. Do you love it? I do. I live it. I love it. My son still plays. My youngest son still plays. And I get teary-eyed thinking he's on the final 9. He's on the back 9. Heck, he might have already pitched tonight. Like he might have already pitched tonight while I'm talking, and I have not been able to see it. And but that's okay. But my point is not to say to you, it's the love of the game. It's the passion of the game. It's for the development of the game. All right. So here's the deal. Now we're talking. This is live. Can you see this? Tyler Beede pitched 2 innings. I missed it. 2 innings, 3 strikeouts, no runs. 33 years old. Am I proud? You damn right I'm proud. 2 innings, no hits, no earned runs, 3 punch-outs. 33 years old. Still playing baseball. Man, that makes me happy. That's why I do it. And when your son or daughter have played their final game and you look back through that rearview mirror, you're not going to remember the statistics. You're not going to remember the scores. You're going to remember sitting in the stands watching your athletes play when they were children, when they were kids, when they were teenagers. That is the purpose of this channel. Subscribe, spread the word. Thank you for listening for yet another week. I hope you have a great week in the sport of baseball.